Well, hello and good morning. It's a pleasure to be with you once again after another one of our transport adventures. This time we're in Lincoln for the buses. And what are we going to see? Well, hopefully we're going to see lots and lots of buses. I keep disappearing in the shadow from the traffic above. I know it's annoying, isn't it? I'm probably annoying. Anyway, as I say, we'll see lots of buses. It's a pleasure having you along with us. The sun is shining. It's spring 2026, and let's get on with the task in hand. Possibly we'll have a chat as we go, and if not, at the end. See you in a bit. Couple of Bry lanes lurking over there. I think last time I came I carried on and filmed over there, neck of the woods, Boston, and very much dominated by Bry Lane. The time to go though is really for the schools traffic. To the mid-afternoon should do nicely if you want to go there. You might find the only English person there. They're from everybody there, all the agricultural workers. Well, bit of a mixed bag here today, isn't it? Yes. Some in the new slate grey colour. Others are calling it the charcoal grey. I think slate grey was the official termination, but that might have changed, who knows. And to remember, a couple of years back they were well, probably another year back more than that, they were trying out all the new liveries. Centre bus, all the other independents tucked in there. This is about 4 operators, which is not bad. Who remembers the old bus station in Lincoln? Well, the one before that as well. I don't. I only remember the last one. And gosh, that was a job and a half, leaping about, trying to get the sun right as they came out and went round the roundabout. But this one, well, a rare case of it was much better than the one before. So you have to win some of the time. Well, it would be fair if it never won out. Oh, another one's coming. Here we go. All the fun of the fair. It's gone 8:30 now. I think it's about 20 to 9. What a lovely wave from the lady driving there. God, who remembers that time when he had a temporary bus station? The bloke was doing his nut about me taking a picture of the bus. It was a good one. The good thing about that though, the clip got lots and lots of hits. So we got lots and lots of views of him. PC coaches. Down in the south, it's thought today will be the warmest day of the year thus far. Forecasting up to 18 degrees. Don't think we're going to get that in Lincoln. I think it's about perhaps about 10 at the moment. can't help but thinking there should be some new buses on their way to Lincoln. It's 2 years since we've been. It's become a bit of a challenge keeping up the pace that we used to, and now in my mid-70s I have to learn to perhaps take my foot off the pedal in more ways than one. Driver. Perhaps it's later than I thought. I think this must be the 9 o'clock departures. Such an exodus. Oh, that's given it a bit of a clear out, hasn't it? We've got 3 liveries, the stagecoach. We've got 3 independents. Do we still call centre bus an independent? I'm not really sure. Because the place always for seeing centre bus was Leicester. Around the country, more and more franchising is becoming the norm, and this coming autumn, November 2026, the first of the Merseyside sectors go over to franchised operations. That will cover the Wirral and St Helens. Delighted, of course, to say that our secretariat, the Northwest VRT at Kirby, is leading the franchised operation. This one looks rather nice, like Bry Lane standards. I must say I'm a little bit palo on the pale side, which should have been away to warmer climes. We were going to go to Guatemala. 2 things stopped us, and one was Andy's accident. But before that, we'd left it to the very last thing because of getting Mandy's new car ordered in October, and we eventually got it in end of February. Very long involved story. We won't go into all that now, but we're not quite sure which place will be our destination for the summer. We're certainly be going up to Scotland this year. Got a few places to go to. North East, we didn't do the North East last year at all, so we've got to get up there. Got to get up to Cumbria and up to Scotland. That's just a few of the places we need to make amends and update our coverage. I was getting a lovely dollop of sunshine to light up our shots. That one's doing a driver shuffle. I think it must be. Could it really be in service? I mean, it's looking rough and looking rough, but I think that's just on the shovel. Faintest little wisps of cloud about and the odd spreading vapour trail. Of course, this part of the world where we often get sight of some RAF planes, and the memorial flight has been viewed before now from this position. Yes, we have them all here. We've had the Spitfire, Hurricane and Lancaster in their time. I think the Lancaster has been a little poorly of late, so that's not make the show. I think we've had something like a Dakota in its place. Not quite the same, is it? Sirens waving around background. There's a fire engine. Now, if I was up there, I'd have probably had a shot of that, wouldn't I? I know, Dave. It's quite like fire engines. So, yeah, I used to be in the Fire Brigade Society. Especially when I was over in Ireland, there wasn't really anybody else doing pictures of them at that stage, and there's some quite interesting old stuff there. Back in the day, I was working in Ireland from 1979 to 1984, and it was a shame though I didn't do still cine film at that stage, and it really would have been very early domestic video, but I didn't do that either. Didn't have the money. So it was my chance to make a few extra bob working away from home. Very prestigious increase going there, and it's quite a promotion for somebody who'd not been there that long, and very interesting, isn't it? I got to know the country, north and south. I did still pictures. I went over into Northern Ireland during the Troubles, got still pictures there, never had any problems at all, really. Birchwood was an area where I actually stayed in digs when we were working on the oil fields in Lincoln. Not everybody knows there's oil fields here, and they have the old nodding donkeys there, fields of them, just like you see in America. Something that has inhibited our travel in the UK is the rather plentiful supplies of rain we've had of late. Right through the autumn, through the winter and into spring, although at last we have a respite. During the early years of my coverage on video, the very, very earliest, I had a big old sort of 1970s era two-piece thing, separate recorder and separate camera, and I got that. I was just in time to record the replacements in Newbury. They had a fire there at the depot. What was it? Beeline. And they had buses shipped in from all over the place. Unfortunately, it seems to be a relatively common thing to happen now. Everything catches fire. So yeah, it was very early days really in the sense of PMP for film, but to start with, we sold models and books, and of course photographs. We used to sell the photographs at the PSV Circle meetings, which were then in the 1970s held when in what became the Manchester Museum of Transport. They'd just received the depot, and it wasn't at that stage quite yet open to the public, and we used it for some of the model bus federation's events. We had the annual model show there, and we extended it into a spring festival of transport, and that became the event that many people came to know the Manchester Museum for, and that was the first of all the one and then 2 times a year sales, the Christmas one joining the ranks of the spring one as the Christmas Cracker. We used to get brass band in and Christmas songs. Well, it's nothing very Christmassy about it today. Well, there is really, because I know you don't mind this little tale, dipping back into the oldie past. When Mandy and I first got together, I got married within a few weeks really, and oh yes, don't hang about all day, get the job done. Always been like that, get the job done. Nice wave from the driver. Well, that one is in service, yeah. Oh, well, that won't have long to wait for replacement. I bet they're already on order. And we used to go down to my mother's in Eastbourne in Sussex, particularly at Christmas. we were living in Manchester. And Andy said, well, for somewhere that was known as the Sun Traveller South, every time we ever went down there, it rained. And even the heat wave summer of was that 76, it rained in Eastbourne. In fact, I was working right through the heat wave, and we went down there, and yeah, it broke. We got the rain, as per usual. It took about 4 or 5 attempts to go down from Andy and actually experience the famous sunshine and the sun trap of the south coast, Eastbourne. Not quite the town it was then, of course, but then where it's perhaps seaside places have suffered more than most over the years. Places like Hastings, Margate, 29, really, yeah, has taken its toll on places like that. Well, we're in no great race today to get anything done. Take our time, take it easy. There's a lovely cafe down at the end of the bus station, Borders Gate. It's nice to have a good cafe at the bus station. Also relatively rare, and there was also one if you travelled up into the northern climes, he said, struggling to think of where it's at. And yeah, there is one in Greater Manchester at Rochdale. Yes, I know! Was anything good ever said about Rochdale? Oh, there's some nice buses. Very much in against the trend of the era, really, to have their buses. Bit all over creamy in the end, but the blue and green was nice. And that was in an era when the majority of the companies around Manchester had red liveries. That was Sept Salford, of course, and before they went into Selneck they were in their green era, but before that they were red and white. Most places have got their backstory, haven't they? In the background, the big building is the car park, and that's better than what we had before. The car park was sort of on the roundabout where you had to be to take shots of the buses. Another cheery way. I think these days bus drivers have much more of a sense of the job they do, piloting a large vehicle around, and piloting a few new vans around, Renaults, and even in London especially, but not yet in Brighton. In London, they know they're an icon, especially if they're in a double-decker. Even if it's electric, big double-deck bus, yes, that's an icon of London, all right. Other places had them and let them go and regretted it. Similar sort of thing going on in Mumbai, in India. Ashok Leyland, and they had numerous double-deckers over the years, and then just a few electrics. And it was nice to see that the electrics, some of them were going to be double-deckers, but they ordered an awful lot and not many arrived. All sorts of political shenanigans going on, I think, there. Our scenes taken on several visits to India, like much of our other material from all over the world, regularly appears on YouTube. As we get towards the twilight of our years exploring the world, we can look back on several firsts. We were the first Western people to go to the coal mines and steelworks in China to look at the transport operations in several locations, and we weren't actually sure that there was anything actually going to be seen, and we did get the first views of many trolleybus systems and even on occasions the trams. Another place we had a first was taking a trip to Transnistria, the breakaway state in what is the modern Moldova. Actually, there's another sort of separate autonomous place within Moldova. That's Bulgaria, and there's a bit more spitting and spluttering required to get that pronounced properly, but I think it's their Turkish community. And when the Soviet Union broke up and Moldova was a country on its own feet, the breakaway parts had to decide what they were doing, and Transnistria wanted to pitch itself with the old Soviets, and Bulgaria agreed to come under the protection of Moldova for defence and foreign policy, a bit like the Channel Islands and the Isle of Man in the UK. Also, in our adventures, we learned all about discontiguous countries, and that was all something new to me, really. I didn't know what the word meant, but basically it means that you sort of, to get to them, and it applies to sort of regions as well as countries. Countries obviously stand out more. You have to go through another country to get to another part of your own country. But you can say, well, you've got an enclave or an exclave, or some places have got enclaves and exclaves. Simple, isn't it? When we went on our trip to Brunei, my friend, travelling companion Martin with me, and we discovered that Brunei, small though it was a discontiguous country, and thus to fly over the country and make our way into the rest of Malaysia, part of Borneo. We had to fly. It was only about a 10-minute flight, but if you did it any other way, you had to go through about 3 lots of customs, and it took hour after hour after an hour. All that replaced by a few minutes in an aeroplane. Some of the most prolific discontiguous places for regions and local boroughs and towns, etc., villages, whatever, all occur around countries like Belgium and the Netherlands, all mainly down to sort of historic works of how wars have ended and treaties were reached. Well, don't the buses look nice with the sunshine on them? Of course they do. The world's a better place. I've been stood here bursting into sun. Don't worry, I'm not going to do it now. I must have done it a couple of times along the years, though, mustn't I? I thought I had my camera in the off position and I burst into song. You only tend to do it when you're sort of out the way of everybody else, as I am, where I'm stood at the moment. And I suppose it's the joys of spring. Although, alas, we are on a Wednesday, and by the weekend it's going to be cold again, probably snowing. Oh dear. Oh calamity, what a spring. How long was it? 2 days. A bit like an English summer. Yes. 1 day of sunshine and 2 days of thunder. guess this is the same PC coach as we saw earlier on. Would their route warrant more than one bus? Perhaps it does, perhaps there are a couple. Dave, what do you know? I know nothing. Another jolly wave. That's a jolly good day as well for waving and being friendly. You see, everybody's like this when there's a bit of spring in the air. Another location that I have got on my list to go to is Skegness. It's been asked for a few times, ages since I've been there. The last time I was there was my friend Alan Mortimer, all the way over from Australia. It's a bit of a treat for us, isn't it? Same lady who waved enthusiastically just a short while ago. Well, probably she's done a whole route. Can't be that short a time, Dave. Well, that depends how long the route is. lovely driver pausing to make sure I've got this shot. That's it. But it's got all the elements of a cracking visit, isn't it, really? Friendly drivers, sun shining, interesting location, variety and quantity of buses, all score fairly reasonably. Not a bad day at all. Of course, when I first came to Lincoln filming, there were municipal buses as well as Lincolnshire Road Car Company and quite a few independents. Seems a whole lifetime away. I suppose it is. My mate John Bishop was over here. I think he came on one of these sort of day excursions by train all the way up from Eastbourne, and he filmed at the depot and got the line-up of all the Lincoln city buses. Lincoln, of course, a city, a cathedral city. And full of history. Anybody likes that sort of thing. I'm quite partial to a bit of history. Hopefully I can make it as I roll along on my merry old way. Ah, lovely wave there. You can't beat that, can you? And that has gone down into the archives forevermore, and all of my footage one day will end up in an industrial unit near Shrewsbury at Online Transport Archive, and I can't speak too highly of their expertise in the subject. And at the moment I'm a trustee director, and my particular area is the moving image section. Very apropos, isn't it, really, because that's more or less what I do mainly, isn't it, moving images. Wished I had done it earlier. All I say is, put them out there, is keep the sun over your shoulder. It's amazing the amount of people who created wonderful still images, but seem to mess it all up with their moving images. And used to always be, well, even on still shots, people who insist on trying to shoot into the sun. These days the kids have all got telephones that can work it all out and sort of pretend you're on the beach at Blackpool and that the bus is bobbing up and down in the sea. But back in the days where we didn't have artificial intelligence, I didn't have much intelligence at all really of any sort, but did manage to get a few reasonable shots. Mostly as things progressed they were taken whilst I was doing the moving shots. You know what it's like, men can multitask, because they can. Just waiting for a place to get in. be wonderful if every visit we made for the rest of this year was in glorious sunshine. And your next wish? World peace? Yeah, well that's the easy one, the sunshine's the hard bit. The bus station's filling up a bit, isn't it? It goes in, it'll come out. Yeah, a little bit of a jam now between them that's coming out and then that's going in. Looking up in the sky, the big bomber's taken off. Probably an American job. Although we think of them being more down in the South and Midlands at the likes of Fairford, but I'm sure when they're sort of going on a mission they're dispersed to various airfields. Whatever that was when it went up, it's got at least 4 engines, I'd say. I think I've seen 3 PCs together. had a quick look at the old scanner thing that tells you what's up there, and whatever it was German Air Force. Lucky one, wasn't it? It's happening today. That's unfortunate, wasn't it? You went out the other way. Well, we've given Lincoln a good bash, haven't we? I hope you enjoyed it. I did. Anything's lovely in the sunshine, isn't it? Anyway, time to say goodbye, and as is usual on these occasions, it's time to say stay well, stay safe, be good, and if you can, be kind to other people. And on behalf of Mandy, who's back at home, and myself here in Lincolnshire, it's what is it? Yes, it's March. Should know, it was my birthday a couple of days ago. Oh yes, getting even more of an old codger. Anyway, on behalf of myself and Mandy, take care, God bless, see you all again soon. Bye bye everybody.